Before we begin tonight's podcast, we want to pause and take a moment of silence for the families who recently lost loved ones in the communities of Buffalo, New York, and Uvalde, Texas. As equally important today, this Memorial Day 2022, we remember the thousands of servicemen and women who paid the ultimate sacrifice for our freedom. We also remember the Gold Star families, those surviving spouses, parents, and families who carry on the memory and legacy of their dearly departed loved ones. With all of these communities in mind, it is our hope and prayer that one day each one will be in a better position to fervently proclaim how they reclaimed their lives. Again, we offer up our most sincere thoughts and prayers and want you all to know we are here for you. Good evening, beautiful people. Welcome to Reclaiming My Life, where we talk about trials and trauma that we've experienced but overcome and reclaimed our lives. Please meet the co authors of Reclaiming My Life, Dr. Tiffany Tyson.
Good evening, everyone. Thank you for joining in and tuning in with us tonight.
Miss Tabitha Chansey.
Hello, everyone, and thank you again for joining Reclaiming My Life.
Ursula Jones.
Good evening, everyone. Thank you for joining our Reclaiming Our Life.
And Miss Joanne Bellamy.
Good evening, everybody, and thank you again for joining us for Reclaiming Our Lives.
Awesome, awesome, beautiful co-authors, my chain breakers. We are so excited to be here this evening. Tonight, we will be talking about being promiscuous and heartless. And our presenter and moderator for this evening would be none other than the lovely Miss Tabitha Chansey.
Hello, everyone, and thank you again for joining our podcast number 3 of Reclaiming My Life. My title was Heartless. Heartless. Some people may think heartless means being mean, selfish, etc. My view of heartless can come from so many things. Basically, have you ever helped anyone so much till they took advantage of it? Or maybe you was always there for a certain person, but you was never able to call them. Heartless. You get tired, you back off a little, you get to the point you no longer care. That, to me, is a way of being heartless. I became heartless at a very young age for loving a man that took advantage of everything I had to offer. Basically, because my father was strict, I wasn't able to hang out. I actually had to beat the street lights on. So they gave him a chance to roam around, move around, see other women. And yes, I was aware of this. But at the time, I was in love. I was young. First person, I was in love. So basically, this became a pattern. No respect, nothing. Actually, he never done anything in my face, but I would hear it every day. So I used to cry myself to sleep at night, But the next day when I see him, I'm happy, as if I never shared a tear. I became heartless. I became so heartless till I never wanted to actually be a girlfriend, main girl, nothing in that pattern. So I began, after I left him, I began to date just wealthy men for money with no strings attached. And I did this like for 10 years. 10 years of my life, I dated wealthy men with no strings attached. I didn't have to answer to nobody. I didn't have to tell you where I was going, who I was with. And I did this. So if you would like to hear more of those 10 years of what I did in 10 years, grab a copy of that book. You can grab that book at PayPal at newfoundme.com. Newfoundme.com. I thank God and the daily prayers that changed my life. I'm an independent woman. I work every day. I own my own business, thisandthat.com. And I'm a notary for the state of Texas. So I would like to bring a few of my co-authors on to ask a question. Miss Claudia, Bernie, Macy,
Yes, ma'am.
could you actually tell us, have it ever been a time in your life that you felt heartless and why?
Yes, actually, there has been a time in my life where, I felt that I could just be heartless. And that time, I would have to say, when I lost my mom and I was grieving, you often hear how people talk about when they lose someone in the family, that's when the family sort of break up. Um, that happened a little bit to me. The people that I thought loved me, family members that I thought loved me, that I thought would be there for me to support me, those were the people that actually hurt me, that were not there for me, that caused more stress in my life during the time when, I was grieving. I heard things like the day that my mother passed, and I did say the day that my mother passed. Um, my cousin, who was my best friend, she actually showed up and she said, "You better be glad I love you because I canceled my massage appointment." And although I know that she did not mean it like to really hurt me, but the timing of it, and when it was addressed, she got upset. You know what I'm saying? And it caused a lot of friction between us. And I really became heartless because I had to go through a time of grieving. And some days I didn't know if I was grieving the loss of my mom or if it was just that I was just angry at that situation. So that was a difficult time in my life, and it did make me feel heartless.
Understandable. That's another way of saying you're heartless. You actually need someone there at your lowest point. I don't really need anyone when I'm up. I need
Right.
someone when I'm down. So actually that make you become heartless when you actually have to see who is really there in your corner when you're at your lowest. Thank you,
Yeah.
Miss Claudia.
You're welcome.
Miss Ursula Jones, has there ever been a point in your life where you felt heartless and why?
Yes, there were. I could say put more into my friendship than I was actually receiving. So I put more into, I say this, I'm always on speed dial with my friends and I don't get the same thing in return. So that makes me feel some type of way. Um, but most of the time when I'm needed, I'm always there when they need me. But when I need them, it's just me. So that makes me feel heartless.
Another way of feeling heartless. I mean, when you look at friends as your sister, your brother. It's a commitment. It is a true commitment, regardless of how people look at it. So whenever you actually to the point where you need somebody, that's when you actually see if you're dealing with a friend or an associate. You can look at a person all day as your best friend, but if they
Yes.
only look at you as an associate, then that means it's one-sided, and it would never work being one-sided. Thank you, Miss Ursula Jones. I would now like to bring on Miss Joanne, my funny girl. Hello, Miss Joanne.
Hello, Miss Tat.
Has there ever been a time that you felt heartless and why?
Yes, there were times that I was heartless. Um, I became heartless when I became homeless. The office manager that told me I had to leave the premises where I was, um, it dampened me so bad until I became heartless. I felt that she was selfish. I felt she wasn't understanding. And I felt she was a heartless person for not giving me an opportunity and a chance. Just a chance a little while longer that I so desperately needed. And I became heartless not towards people, but towards myself in a way for allowing this to happen. But it was out of my control. But I still became heartless to people that made this happen. And I've all being an only child, I take on the people fast, and a lot of people have made me heartless because I've always put myself last and put other people first. And people will take advantage of you. People have taken advantage of me, accuse and misuse me, and it made me somewhat of a heartless person at times to certain people. It's given me a somewhat of a spirit of learning how they are, and that point of doing that made me heartless. So, but I had to learn through Jesus Christ not to be heartless anymore. I had to learn how to take another step and change.
Thank you so much, Miss Joanne. Another way of being heartless. I mean, people go through so many things. You don't know. You see the smile. Majority of the people that are going through the most carry a smile at all times. So always try to put yourself in a predicament as if you were in that person's shoes. Be a ear. Be an ear. If nothing else, let a person vent. You never know what a person is going through. And we have so many
Yes.
people that are through depression, wanting
Yes.
to hurt themselves, wanting to hurt others because one person misled them. It's okay to help people. It's okay. My blessings come every day just from helping someone. You don't want to push someone against a wall and then cut a bigger hole for them to go further. Help them, bless them, and if not, stay out of the way. Miss Joanne, I'm glad you reclaimed your life, baby. Because
Thank
guess
you.
what?
Thank
Gotta
you.
do that thing.
Yes.
Thank you, sweetheart.
Amen. Thank you.
Next, we would like to bring on Mr. Dr. Tiffany Tyson.
Hello.
Hello, doctor. Being that you are a doctor and things, I don't know if you ever been through the thing of heartless, but I'm thinking everybody has been through at least one time in their life. So have you ever witnessed a part of your life where you were heartless and why?
So honestly, I have to say I have not been heartless. It's hard for me not to be able to listen to people and not feel empathetic, as we kind of mentioned at the beginning of the show. Even watching what was going on in Texas and Buffalo, even though you're not there, but you're empathetic and you want the best for their community and your community, and how can we help stop gun violence? But through my experiences with relationships and friendships, what I've learned to do is protect my emotions. And as people, we have to learn to protect our emotions. And there's a couple ways to do that. Number one, stay away from people that are trying to hurt your feelings, like saying negative things. Like Miss Claudia said recently, the lady came to the funeral and said, I'm only here. I stopped my massage. That was hurtful. Or someone that talks down to you, that says that you're too fat or too small, or why can't you just be like, Jennifer, my other friend Jennifer. These are hurtful things. People, things that say, things that bully you. So learning to stay away from those people. Number two, set clear boundaries in your relationships and friendships. Let people know what are deal breakers for you. If they can't be trusted, or if you tell them a secret, you don't want your business out on Facebook 30 minutes after you finish a conversation with them. So let them know, if I'm telling you this because I want you to keep this a secret. So learning to set boundaries and let people know what your expectations are and what you don't want in a friendship or relationship. And then learning to build trust in friendships and relationships before you share certain secrets about yourself to people. Because guess what? You can't trust everybody. As Chris Brown said it, them girls ain't loyal. Guys are not loyal either. And so you have to remember that some people come into our lives, they're not there to be, every person you meet is not there for a relationship. They may not be relationship material, they may be better for someone else. Individuals may not be meant to be your best friend. They may meant to be just associates or a resource or a consultant for that period of time. So I think once we identify what type of relationship we have with that person, we know what type of information to disclose or not disclose. And when you do that, you guess what? You protect your emotions.
Thank you so much, Dr. Tiffany.
You're welcome.
Again, another way to actually see what you can do to prevent being a heartless. We have a lot of people that take advantage of people. We have a lot of people that actually don't care about the feelings of others. Anytime I decide to make a decision about anything, I always think about what if I was in that person's shoes. That's how I base my answer. Anything that I do, I always try to base my answer off of what another person is going through. If I can't help you, I'm not going to harm you at all. If there's nothing I can do, I'll get out of your way. So we also have to know that whoever you're dealing with, if they don't have any type of respect for you, they're not for you. We always have to keep in mind that you can get on your knees daily, not just in the morning and the night. You can get on your knees daily and pray. Believe me, God has changed my life tremendously. I am thankful. I am blessed. I am a changed woman. I don't regret majority of my past because I had a great time doing wrong, wonderful time, but it wasn't for me. It wasn't me. So I just want to let everyone know anyone can change. You don't have to be heartless. Let it go. You have to free yourself. You have to forgive anyone that has done anything to you. Forgive them. I don't care what it is. Forgive them. You don't ever have to speak to them again, but forgive them. Do not let that weight be on you. I thank each and every one of you. Each and every one of you. I'm so happy to be here tonight. And now we would like to bring Miss Claudia Macy back on.
Good information, Tat. Thank you so much for presenting tonight. And I tell you what, like you said, everybody better go and get this book because when I tell you that she spilled all the tea, she spilled the tea. You definitely want this book. And I want to go back and ask a couple of questions if I can. But I do want to say, things that could cause people to be promiscuous. And I'm going to, look at my co-authors here. Ursula Jones, her chapter, she was talking about drugs. That was her old addiction, but she's on new addiction. She has reclaimed her life. Being on drugs, when a person is on drugs, it can definitely cause them to be promiscuous. Miss Joanne, she was homeless. And that's what her chapter talks about, being homeless. But in her chapter, she talks about when she was staying with a man and that man started putting in those sex tapes. She knew she had to go. So that was a decision that you made, Miss Joanne. It could have been the other way. What do I need to do to stay here so that I don't be homeless? Okay. And then, of course, Tad, um, for me, I'm thinking, Tad, you became defensive. You were hurt, and you decided that you weren't going to be hurt anymore. So, you became very defensive, and like you said, you became the person that started doing men the way the men were doing you. You had that attitude, nobody's going to hurt me anymore, you know. And of course, myself, I experienced sexual violence. So when we go through sexual trauma, we can definitely become promiscuous, but thank God that wasn't me. And that's just how it works sometimes. Some go one way and some go the other. But at the end of the day, I'm so glad that we all have reclaimed our lives. I know that there are so many people that are listening to what we're saying. They're probably raising their hands saying, that was me. I've been there. I did that, you know. But Dr. Tyson, could you give us some more examples? As I just mentioned, just examples of what would make a person become promiscuous?
Yes. So, for instance, like you said, someone that's experienced trauma, if they've experienced sexual violence or domestic violence, it depends on what type of also environment that they grew up in. So, those are some certain ways that people can become promiscuous. And sometimes, if you've been traumatized through rape, you may feel like, no one else is going to, want to be in a relationship with me. Why should I get into a serious relationship with someone else? You may feel like you've been destroyed, or you may feel like unworthy of actually having a relationship. And sometimes the abuser can, again, like I was saying, put certain words, they keep saying things, bullying you or taunting you, and just lowering your self-esteem and lowering your confidence. And when you hear those things over and over again, you start to believe what people call you. And like they say, it's not about what they call you, it's what you answer to. And so you don't have to answer to those things. You don't have to become that. But once you start hearing people say those names about you, you feel like, wow, this must be true. And so this can make someone go out and do harmful things to themselves, such as promiscuity. But as you say, you can reclaim your life because there is hope. And when individuals stop believing those words that people call them, and reconnect with themselves, whether it's prayer, whether it's having that support system, and having positive people around you, not people that's going to tear you down and tear your character down, but help build you up. And you're like, wow, this is, I am somebody, I am special. When your self-esteem comes back and your confidence comes back, you're like, okay, I don't want to do this anymore. I don't want to have this lifestyle anymore, because I am somebody and I am worthy for somebody to love me. And I'm worthy to be in a relationship with someone that's going to respect me and respect my choice now of what I've decided to do.
Absolutely. Real quick, you all, before we close out this evening, if you all would just go ahead on and let the people know, how can they connect with you? How can they connect with you, and how can they purchase your book?
Okay, you can reach me, Tat Chancey, Facebook. You can message me. My business number is 910-580-4470. Or you can, if you would like to purchase a book, you can go through newfoundme.com. PayPal, newfoundme.com. Phone number 910-580-4470. It's just a business number.
All
Thank
right.
you, everyone.
Yes, ma'am. Thank you. Dr. Tyson.
Yes. If you would like to hear more information, you can contact me through info@tysonmultimedia.com. My business number is 252-281-4884. If you also need help with any type of issue that you're dealing with, depression or anxiety, you can contact us at 252-212-3350.
Thank you. And Ursula Jones.
You can reach me on Facebook, Ursula Chancey Jones, and also if you wanted to purchase a book, you can. My website is ursulastory.com, and I also have an Instagram, Prissy_Jones35, and my business number is 979-417-2563. Again, that's 979-417-2563.
Miss Joanne.
If you would like to purchase a book of Reclaiming My Life, you can contact me. My website is www.joannesjourney.com or 910-726-0035.
Thank you
Thank
so
you.
much.
Mhm.
And you can reach me at claudiamassey.com. That's my website, claudiamassey.com. If you would like to book us to come to a city near you, please go to reclaimingmylifetour.com. We thank you all so much for joining us. And remember, if you woke up today, you still have opportunity to reclaim your life.